not always do you need to be talking about business. You do need to also talk about the mental health. How do you create content during a crisis like we are in right now with the whole coronavirus craziness? How can you shift your messaging? How can you make sure that you still stay relevant while also making sure that you reach your audience where they're at right now, so you help them with their current business? And do you really need to change your messaging at all? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I will share with you my best tips for content creation and whether you should be launching right now and what kind of products and services you should be launching, how you can quote unquote pivot if you need to, because we are still living in the world with a pandemic. You know, Corona hasn't really gone anywhere, it's just accelerating, but that's not what we're going to be talking about today. I will share with you all of my best content tips in this video, so be sure to watch this all the way until the end. So welcome back to my channel, Jelena Ostrovska here from JelenaOstrovska.com. This is the best place for coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs who are trying to turn social media into the revenue generators. So this video is going to talk all about content creation during a crisis like we're at right now. So let's get into the video. And if you are new, then be sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy all things content, social media, and coaching. So when it comes to content creation and when it comes to products, when it comes to launching, you have to remember two things. People either want to get away from pain or they want to get closer to the pleasure. So, and right now, a lot of people are experiencing pain. So that's how you should be positioning your content so that people can actually move away from the pain, because a lot of people do not really care about the pleasure, and a lot of people do care about how do I actually stay secure, how do I secure my income, how do I, generate more leads so I actually have more clients to fill up. People don't really care right now about traveling, or, some do, but a lot of people just want to stay secure. They want that security for themselves and for their family. So that is something that you have to keep in mind. And that is actually something I also learned from Dean Graziosi. So he talked about that a little while ago, and that's how he was able to pivot back in 2008 when it was a recession at the time. And he said that he changed his messaging from constantly talking about how people can attain pleasure, and instead he started focusing about security, about providing the kind of content that was relevant at the time during a recession. So people were losing their homes, people were losing their jobs, their income. So a lot of people had to pivot, and he had to pivot his content strategy and his overall business approach to where he was able to stay afloat, and as a result later on make millions of dollars. So right now you have to think about what are people searching. So what are they searching on YouTube? What are they searching on Google? You have to look at the trends, and I would recommend to you one area where you can look into right now is Pinterest trends, which is only available in the US and I believe also in Canada. So they are slowly rolling it out. So, and what Pinterest trends do, they do show you what are people currently searching for, like during a specific period of time. That will give you so many ideas as far as how you can pivot and how you can apply the strategies from Pinterest that people are searching for into your own content strategy, into your own business. So another thing that you also want to keep in mind, business still continues. We still continue living our lives. Just because there is a pandemic doesn't mean the lives stop. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there are countries on a lockdown. Yes, people are losing their jobs. The unemployment rate has been crazy. However, if you are an online coach, if you are a consultant, you should be grateful because you are going to have so many customers and clients flowing into your pipeline just because people are finally turning online. They're finally realizing, wow, I can't actually rely on a single income stream. I can't rely just on my job. That's not an actual security. And we've had a flow of customers during the pandemic. In fact, I feel like just for me personally, because I've stayed home the entire time, I was able to work with more clients. I was able to increase my income and make way more money than I even made in 2019 when we didn't have no pandemic or no crisis or anything like that. And this year I was able to serve more clients because people started reaching out and saying, hey, I really need help. And I need help with, moving my business to the online world. I need help with social media because I've never really used this. I need help with transferring my expertise from being offline, let's say a psychologist or, financial expert. We've been working with different kinds of people in this year in particular. So people do shift online. So if you are a coach or consultant or you have an agency, now is a really good time to step up and really focus on teaching people how to actually switch to the internet and online marketing. So back in March, when the pandemic started blowing up, obviously we've had it in February and January, but in March it was officially announced as a pandemic. So what I did in my content strategy, just because it is hard to navigate through something like this, especially me as a business owner, I've never had to deal with that. I've been in business for several years, but never have I experienced a pandemic being in business. However, what I had to do, just because I knew a lot of people were dealing and are still dealing with uncertainty, a lot of people do deal with anxiety, a lot of people do deal with, stress because they have no idea what to do moving forward. And I've had a good chunk of that anxiety myself as well. So that's something that I actually had to talk about in my Instagram post. I did a post right here, and I'll show extra posts around the screen as well, where I talked about the things that you can do, the things that you can do from home, how you can prioritize self-care. So I did talk about that area of your life, because not always do you need to be talking about business. You do need to also talk about the mental health. And honestly, mental health is a part of any business, whether you are a coach, whether you are a financial planner, whether you are a health expert, it doesn't really matter. Like, mental health is always a priority in every single area, and that's one thing that you have to talk about, not constantly, but you have to bring it up every now and then. Now, another thing that you have to consider is, can people really afford you right now? Considering the unemployment rate going up, considering all the craziness happening, people losing their jobs, not having their regular stream of income. So something that you have to keep in mind is, what is going to be your pricing when it comes to your offer? So are you going to be constantly offering high tickets? Are you going to have some kind of mid-tier level of products? Are you going to have something like a tripwire offer, to where it's like a small offer that you're going to offer to people? So you have to think about that. And think maybe right now is a good time to switch to solely high ticket. And I want to say, from my experience, I have not really been struggling with selling high ticket, because there's always going to be people who want to buy $1 million house right now. So there's always going to be people like that, no matter like what's going on in the world. Some people still want the luxury and the extra special treatment when it comes to business or buying a house or buying a car, although a lot of industries do struggle. So I've seen a lot of coaches pivot from doing a high level kind of mastermind, instead selling a membership program, for example. So if you're somebody who is a high level coach, a membership program is something that is a good idea to sell these days, because memberships is something that's within a couple $100 per month range, sometimes $50 a month or $100 a month. So there's different kinds of membership programs. So that is something that you can consider. Especially this video will help you in case we do have a second wave during the fall. So be sure to get back to this video during the fall time as well. So that's something that is likely going to help you a lot. So nobody really knows what's going to happen, but just in case, I really hope this video is going to be insightful for you. So that is something that you have to consider. So you can still sell high ticket, and obviously if you're somebody who has been hosting events, obviously you gotta pivot and create those events live. You gotta host them through Zoom or other platforms. We have actually been helping people navigate through online events and online virtual summits. So we can connect on Instagram. There is my handle somewhere on this video, so feel free to connect if you are looking for help from somebody who has been helping clients with virtual events. And now the other thing is, if you have been hosting live events or virtual events, you have to think about, is it really a good, you have to look at your current offers and see what makes sense to sell right now. What can people really afford, and what kind of transformation are people looking for? So something that I would suggest for you to do if you have a high-level mastermind, which masterminds usually last 6 months or 12 months, or if it's a one-on-one coaching container that lasts 6 to 12 months. A lot of the times creators and coaches, they do offer live events, and some of them do those kind of live events and mastermind retreats multiple times a year. So it would be a good idea for you to look at it and how can you switch the strategy without hurting your price points and without hurting your profitability as well. So it would be a good idea to cut out those events just for the time being, because nobody really knows if the borders are going to be closed down. And me personally, from my experience, I'm being in Europe, and a lot of these coaches, they offer events in the United States, and I'm like, I can't even go there, so what's the point of me signing up if I can't even attend that kind of event just because the border is particularly closed for me? So that is something you want to think about. You do want to focus on inclusivity. Stop focusing just on one market, and instead think kind of more globally. If you're attracting clients from Europe, think, is it a really good idea to offer a live event during this kind of time? So this is something for you to consider. So because everybody likes live events, this was the year when I wanted to go to a lot of live events, and that just didn't happen. So that is something you want to consider for all of the people around the world that you are serving, and see how you can pivot. So that is all I wanted to share with you in this video. I really hope this was valuable. I really hope you got some ideas how you can pivot with your content strategy during a crisis like this. So let me know what was your biggest takeaway down below into the comment section. Hit like if you enjoyed this video, and go ahead and hit subscribe button if you enjoy this kind of content and if you enjoy all things content marketing, video marketing, social media, and coaching. And hit the bell sign as well so you get notified every single time there are new videos on my channel, which is every single week. And be sure to check out these videos so you can learn more about content creation, how to create content, where to get ideas, how to promote it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.